Hey guys, welcome back to another obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 70s, 80s, and today. And this is episode 38, and I managed to squeeze in 8 different obscure toys this week. We're going to start off with the movie tie-in of The Flintstones by Mattel from 1993. Now, the Flintstones certainly aren't obscure, but the toy line that was attached to the movie definitely was, and Mattel had these characters from 1993 based off said movie starring John Goodman and Rick Moranis. The first line of toys were a mix of the actor likeness and the Hanna-Barbera body styles. The second series had more of an actor-realistic look. Both series had vehicles and playsets, including cars, dinosaurs, and of course the bowling alley. The third series went back to more of an original cartoon that looked like the Hanna-Barbera series. Everything was available in plastic or plush. The Greatest American Hero by Mego, 1981. Mego managed to release its last toy line before closing its doors in limited release. The Greatest American Hero was a TV show featured on ABC in the early 80s. The 3 3/4 figure was based off that TV series. Ralph and Bill characters along with their convertible bug were released in the same fashion as Chips and very similar to Dukes of Hazzard packaging. The standard posable 8-inch Mego style figures were scheduled to be released. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, Mego closed their doors before they could get to it. It goes without saying Ralph and Bill are highly sought after now on the collector's market. This one's brand new to me, KRUSHER by Mattel, 1979. The Big Green Cheese, there can only be one. Last week it was Godzilla, king of the monsters who ruled the anthill, but now, fresh out of the box comes a new challenger. He's mean, he's green, he's the most squishable monster you've ever seen, he's KRUSHER. Standing 15 inches tall, his toy mechanic was when you pulled the pin out of the back of his belt, he would inflate his rubber body to his full height. Second cousin to Stretch Armstrong, KRUSHER's fondly remembered by people who actually had him. Sadly, he wasn't even on the toy shelves for a whole year. Another gem by Mattel, this one comes in 1978, SUCKERMAN. You'll see his clone cousins at the flea market all the time nowadays, but in the late 70s, SUCKERMAN was a pretty cool toy released by Mattel. He was an alien body with suckers up and down his abdomen, arms, and legs. He came in a multitude of colors and also glow in the dark. Mattel actually licensed out SUCKERMAN to Japan through Bandai, who created their own series of characters, and also parts of Italy actually had some bootleg ones that were Marvel characters. On the internet, on card, the Hulk SUCKERMAN from Italy will go over $250. Mork and Mindy, another by Mattel, 1979. Mattel cornered the market by jumping on the licensing and getting the rights to this popular late 70s TV show starring Robin Williams, where he portrayed an alien from another planet that came down to Earth. So they released quite a few toys. They had 2 9-inch figures, both of Mork and Mindy. They had the small 4-inch Mork that came with the egg ship, which is highly collectible and sought after today, as well as a large talking plush doll with all his catchphrases, complete with pull string. Shazbot. The Muscle Mutts by Streetwise Design, 1996. Muscle Mutts are an obscure toy line that, when I originally saw them a few years ago, I thought that they were just knockoff Street Sharks because they're made in the same vein and even their logo looks very similar. But these are apparently very rare and very expensive on the collector's market to pick up now. Each of the 4 characters had their own special ability for the story as well as a weapon, including Bronzer, Red Knuckle, Sugartooth, and Gutter. Along with the 4 Muscle Mutt characters, there was also 4 enemy characters, Sam and his stray cats. Now, to me, the stray cats seem to be a little cooler because, from what I can tell from the pictures and some of the toy images that I could pull up, they actually had retractable claws that would come out of the front of their paw. If you can find one of these obscure toys, pick them up because they go for hundreds of dollars now. Warriors of Virtue by Play-Em Toys, 1997. Now I had one of those Berenstain Bears moments because I could have swore that this toy line was called Warriors of Virtuosity. These toys obviously were based off the movie of the same name from 1997, featuring 16 characters in the original series. Each of the hero characters and enemies came in posable fashion with articulation at the hip and the arms. They all came with their own weapons and special write-up about their special fighting style. Most of the characters can be found online on card for a decent price, so if you're after the Warriors of Virtue, now's a good time to pick them up. Dinosaucers by Glasslite, 1989. So, from what I can gather, the Brazilian company Glasslite bought the molds off of Galoob for the Dinosaucers based off a cartoon that just never got off the floor. The toys were unproduced, so the Brazilian company picked them up. They produced 5 of the 8 previously unproduced 8-inch tall action figures. Each figure was exactly the way Galoob had planned it, hard plastic bodies and soft plastic limbs. Glasslite did a great job and produced each one in its correct weapon and came with a box with a nice write-up and color display that matched the cartoon that it was based on. The 5 characters that made it to production are all sought-after toys now as well, including Allo, Genghis Rex, Bronto, Quackpot, and Bonehead. Even with a missing weapon and paint damage, these are worth picking up. And that's gonna do it for episode 38. These were 8 more obscure, well, sort of obscure, and some of them very rare toys to find. Down in the comments, if you have an idea for an obscure toy line that I haven't covered, please let me know. I always love getting suggestions. Your suggestions help keep this series running, guys, and like I said, I'd love to get to episode 40, give it some closure. You know, if we can get another 10 obscure toys out in the next month, that would be awesome. Till next week, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in a little while. Take care.